Okay, kit builders, welcome to a new episode. Carburetor time. So those are the pieces that we're going to use, and a carburetor. That carburetor's not out of the kit. It looks just like the one that came out of the kit. And you've seen that before. That's not from the kit. That is from the kit. I'm sorry, we're missing that. There's some edges, some indentions on the side of that clip, and there's some bumps that I'm pointing to there. And those indentions will go up against those bumps. That's how you line it up. Just push it in. And that's the thin piece. It's smaller than the other. We're going to put around the outside of those studs. There we go. That's a better position. And that encompasses the rubber manifold and the insert that we just put in. And those studs can be a little bit rough, and I use, I'm just saying, I run a die. Just use my fingers, twirl it down on both of them, and it cleans it up, and it makes the nut go on, easily, effortlessly. And I guess you can't see that, but we're putting the rubber boot on the intake on the carburetor. There we go. And I realized that it was out of sight, and I'm going to take it off and show you. There you go. Good boy. That goes to the impulse line. And that will hook around the throttle. And there we have our fuel line. And that will go behind the lever there. And you sort of take your throttle linkage, and you move it out to the side, and then drop the linkage down, and it'll just pop right in. The first time you do it, you'll have to try more than once, but it's easy. Now, I just took the impulse line and moved it slightly. No, I'm the linkage. That's what I'm doing there. So to recap, you're gonna shove that inlet down into the impulse line, and then you're gonna hook the linkage into the carburetor. That's the equivalent to brain surgery on a chainsaw. I used a piece of steel fuel hose there. It was the end piece, and it's not the right length. So I'm going to put it on, and it's going to kink, and I'm going to take it off and cut it. And I find the best way to remove that hose is to start at the top and push down on the hose, and it'll slip off of the barbs a little better. Of course, steel's got a great little tool to do that with. But as you can see, I wasn't using it. So there goes the fuel line, and I get it snugged all the way up. Now the first thing I did was, when I got the handle, was checked the integrity of the tank. I pressure tested it, so I know that it won't leak or cause me any trouble. Now, this happens fairly regularly, for me anyway. That piece of plastic, that cover, it has some, it has two little circles there on the outside of the big circle that you can see, that um, flange is going to slide over the studs, and I'm going to need to take a file, and there is a little bit from the mold, there's a little bit of plastic that's left, and so when I push it on there, it's not going to go, you see, yeah, it's not going to go all the way through. So I'll need to take it off and just go file those nubs off. I could have done that off camera, but then you wouldn't know about it. There you go. I'm going to give up in a minute, go get that file. Magic of video. There we go. We see that the studs come through now. Those studs are M5s, so that is the nut. There was a package of 2 nuts that came in the kit, and that's what they were meant for. That was the carburetor box. I believe I'm looking for my nut driver. Deep socket 5 millimeter socket is your friend. There's the pre-filter screen under it. Baffle. The baffle is the hole is not drill centered. You turn it it's kind of off center as it's supposed to be. That's not much coming through the stud. If you'll notice, there's not very much of that stud coming up through that filter. And a lot of people will use the orange cover to hold that on, and I won't. I put a nut on it, and because of that, you need enough of a stud to also get the orange cover on. And that particular 5mm is a little bit larger than what I should be using here. Except it does a better job of sealing the filter because it's got some broad shoulders to it. You can't see it, I'm sorry. I'm putting in the rubber piece that goes in the top baffle. And I should know that that's not going to fit, but I don't recognize it. So the answer is to take that off. Hint, hint. Now I'm going to remove that filter. and open up the one that came with it. Yeah, use of that second nut or the nut allows you to tighten it down so that no dust gets through into the throat of the carburetor. And because the top of that is recessed slightly, it gives me enough to grab hold of. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the muffler.